Howdy ho, Lions fans. Welcome to the Detroit Lions podcast, episode 571. This is the kickoff to 2025 Lions training camp. Welcome to the show. I am here with my good friends and co-hosts, Michael Gray and Jeff the Rizzler Risdon. How you boys doing today?
What's up, boys?
It's good to be here. It's good to see Gray. I miss you, buddy.
Hey, good to be seen.
Hugs, and
Right.
not drugs, because then you get.
I try to make sure
jokes.
whenever I'm around Riz that I bring my 90s references, so.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
I knew.
Thunder.
We're going back. I'll take you back. We got the Grande.
Yeah, you got me beat in the nostalgia department today. That was a dirty trick.
I want to buy that place. I saw it's $5 million. It's out of my league, but I want to buy it. If anyone wants to help buy a place and bring some good comedy and music to Detroit, let's
Take some donations in the Slack. We could scrape together $5 million, right?
Yeah, pull it out. Let's do it. Wow! Oh my God! Jeff Merrill shows up in the super chat. Not for the Grande Ballroom Fund though, but family gathering without the creepy uncle. Well, we'll get the trains running on time, and you determine who the creepy one is, my friend. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about the Lions' new coaches. The inside jokes are the best ones, right? They really are.
They really are.
Where are the team's current depth concerns? We're going to talk about how we should react and how folks should be thinking about these the injuries and what we're hearing from on the injury front. And 2025 make or break seasons for the Lions. We got a lot of that going on and a whole lot more. Risdon, you ready to go, my man?
Let's do it.
Let's kick this off and break it down.
All right. Let's do it. We're here.
All right.
Get used to it. Let's talk about Detroit Lions. There's a lot going on, my friends.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's not every day that you start training camp with a season-ending injury. That's a new tweak. And the fact that Campbell did it like Columbo, and he's like, just the one more thing. Yeah, Levi's done for the year. Any questions? I mean, he threw that in like he told you tip your wait staff. Levi's done. That one rattled a lot of people, just judging by the general online of it all that is constantly lives to be rattled.
Yeah. Oh man,
that didn't feel great.
someone
as a
queued
fan,
up the
that doesn't feel
Lashik
great.
album and put on a little Freak Out, and they're
Right.
running around on Twitter right now. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It is crazy. Another throwback. That's not bad, huh? A little bit of disco for everybody.
I sometimes forget how much older than me you are.
I'm not that much older than you.
You
I just
are.
remember. I just remember
Inside.
things. I just remember
wow.
things. I do say, like when I talk, I told my family this for years. Don't worry, all my scars are on the inside. Risdon, you've been at camp. What's it like to get back and actually be somewhere working instead of lounging with your toes in the sand?
Oh, it's nice. Although I miss the sand actually, but it's been good, and it's just media, and like there is something very positive about having the fans there. There are some players that clearly play to it, but it's kind of cool just being back and like the players will interact with us a little bit on the down low. They're more real football, and I think there's a lot of value in that. They haven't been in pads yet, so that's been a little disappointing. But it's been a lot of fun being back out there and just covering football. It took me a little bit, like the first half. So they started Sunday morning. Like the first half of Sunday's practice, I'm like, oh crap, I've forgotten how to do this. It came back. It comes back to you.
What's the vibe like? I mean, what among the players? What's the mood?
They know they're good, and they are ready to prove to everybody else that they're still good. With the offense, specifically, and this might be jumping ahead a little bit, they're very, very eager to prove that they are not a product of Ben Johnson. Very eager to prove that.
Sure.
They have heard the noise, and they are ready to silence that noise.
I can go back I can say just from the moment Ben was announced and that they knew he was going there, it was instant rivalry. It was instant bitterness towards Ben and wanting to just crush the Bears.
Well,
They
I'll say
definitely.
this. I don't think the players are mad or bitter at Ben. I think they're bitter at the fact that they're being perceived as like they can't win or do anything without Ben there.
No, it's both.
And that's
It's
bothering
both.
them.
When it happened, they were angry. They were angry. He could have gone anywhere, but he went to a division rival, and St. Brown was one of the first ones that was piping up of like, I cannot wait to go and fucking kill them. So there's that, but also as time has gone on since then, exactly what you're saying, man. They've been here and there. It's a product of the Johnson. And I'm happy to see that it won't be. I mean, I can't wait. That first game, I was thinking about it earlier today against the Bears. How wild would it, if you're Ben Johnson, what if you just played straight ass football and none of the funny stuff against the Lions? The Lions are going to spend a whole week looking for the funny stuff and prepping for funny stuff, and then you're going to play hard nosed black and blue division NFL, NFC North football. That'd be crazy. Right, I don't think he'll do it, but that would take everybody out of there. They
have to, because Caleb Williams isn't a quarterback who can handle that kind of stuff.
No.
Right.
Ben will figure that out.
I was going to say there, but for the Caleb Williams of it all, he's not dealing with Jared Goff anymore. He may be limited, but it won't be by his imagination. It's going to be by his quarterback. That is an interesting thing to me. It seems to have been washed out in the narrative chase that has gone on with Ben Johnson coaching in Chicago, and it being, just this wonderkind of an offensive mind. And there are two things for me that just I'm still trying to get my head wrapped around. One, that Dan Campbell's not a football coach. He's just a pro wrestler with a baseball hat. He's a slogan guy. He's a meathead. And two, where was Ben Johnson before? Dude was buried, and he was buried on Patricia's coaching staff. I mean, he was just a guy, and Dan found him. Dan made Ben, and that got flipped somewhere in the last 18 months that Ben made Dan. And it's that when I have not yet been able to find the source material, like the villain origin story for this guy. It's masterful the way that story flipped.
I think it's part of the process of pushing your coaches up and bringing your people up so that they're building people to get hired. And I think especially back when Ben was coming in, where the team was then, there was an utter lack of confidence throughout that locker room. And I think one of what Campbell's kind of mindsets there was, I need to elevate everybody here so they have the confidence and the belief that they can do it, right? And even when Campbell took the reins, he was pretty coy about holding on to play calling until he could pass it off to Ben, right? I think there was that was sort of a rite of passage. I think it's a little bit of, I want to test the waters before I let the fish swim. I don't know where that analogy came from, but just
put
go
all
with
those
it.
Metaphors in a blender.
It's a fillet of fish ready to fly. Test the waters before he flies. And then, but also, okay, now you pass the test and you're ready to go. There was probably, if you've ever stepped up in a role like that, there's probably a little imposter syndrome that comes with it, right? And there's just the whole step of getting somebody quickly up in maturity, especially in the environment where the Lions were at that point. I mean, I saw people writing that, Aylin should take over right before that first win against Minnesota. Aylin should take over the play calling duties again. It's like, no, he's not taking anything over again. But it was a little odd. It's good, very astute observation about the origin story, but I think there was a lot of Campbell building Ben up because he doesn't have ego. And that's, I think, the thing about Campbell that makes him so great is anyone can elevate around him because he doesn't have to stand up and take the credit.
100% true. True of the players that he brings in, too. That's the kind of players that he wants, and that's what they look for.
Well, and the other thing to Jeff's point about this offense and what they have to prove, I don't understand how people get it twisted. Look at the talent that's on that roster, the skill positions specifically. Oh my God, they're really good.
In the
and
league.
if JMO takes a 16th of the step that everybody seems convinced he's ready to take, I just watched Jared's post Netflix thing with Kay Adams, and that was the one guy he mentioned. Dan's mentioned him. I know Risdon was talking about him today. You add that to the mix to go with Laporta, to go with that backfield, to go with St. Brown. Whoever the offensive coordinator is, you got the keys to a Ferrari, man. Go.
Well, let's talk about the offensive coordinator. I'd have to say last year, as good as this team was, we probably had the most talented IR roster too, which is bananas. But if you if you think about the new coaches, Johnny Morton jumping in, he's got the handlebars. Riz, what are we seeing so far from him?
He is very detail oriented, and that's something that's come out in the players that we've talked to. And I talked to Khalif Raymond after Sunday's practice for a bit. It was actually myself and Corey Woods got him for a good 10 minutes before the media, everybody else showed up. Like, oh, they're talking over there. Let's go over there. And Leaf was very like, and he didn't say anything at all about Ben Johnson, but just like the vibe that we got and listening to Leaf and listening to a couple other guys was like Morton understands how to teach football. And I used an analogy that probably 5 people will get, but my favorite band is Dream Theater, and they switched drummers. And like Mike Portnoy, if you've ever heard of him, is like the god of progressive rock drumming, metal drumming. He's done all kinds of stuff. And then they left him, and they brought in a guy named Mike Mangini, who's like very, very technical and like a savant of technique, but he doesn't play with any feel at all. And when listening to Leaf, when he talked about how Ben needed us to be, you know, to go with it, the trains always had to be on time, exactly where they were. We're not robots. We're not lines on paper.
Mm-hmm.
Enough about the trains.
Yeah. That's very Ben Johnson. Like Ben, and if you've been to training camp, you've seen this, Chris. I know you've seen it. When a receiver wasn't where and when he was supposed to be at the exact time, Ben would go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you need some of that attention to detail, no doubt about it. But Leaf talked about the freedom and the creativity they have to vibe a little bit and inject their own personality and their own talent into what they're doing. That's being very, very well received by the skill position players beyond Leaf. I can tell you that right now.
It's funny because one of the things that jumps out at me as you're saying that, Riz, is standing there watching how he and Fraley had to bracket the line of scrimmage on their side of the sideline in the exact same spot every time, no matter where the line of scrimmage was. I don't, that was probably a Ben thing, and there was probably a conversation about what they were watching exactly, but it was these two guys specifically bracketing the exact same way every play, and it happened into the games too. It was really interesting to watch that.
Yeah, there's a lot of, and I don't mean this to be like critical of Ben or anything, but he was different. He was exacting, and a lot of the guys needed that. Some guys thrive under that. But it's pretty clear that the team was ready to spread its wings a little bit. And I had a really good conversation with another Lions guy this morning. I won't say who it is because it's not important. But the thought that where could Ben go? Because he's known for all the hyper creativity. Where was his next move? Was to go like, let's go standard. Let's strip the playbook back. Nobody will expect that. It's exactly what John Morton's doing. He's making them play more football and less of the gimmicky stuff. And look, it's 2 days. So far, the players love it. They love it. And that's nothing against Ben. That's just what they're getting from John Morton. Remember, John was here. He was here in 2022 when Ben got exalted, when they created this offense around Ben and Dan and Mark Brunell and Jared Goff, who had a very big input in it. He was part of that mix, man. And I think that's escaped the minds of especially Lions fans, which is odd. Like I expect national guys not to know that, and national guys to only know him as the guy who was the coordinator for the 2017 Jets, who were a UFL team on offense.
Yeah.
That's one that gets like fans already seem out on John Morton even before he's even started. I don't get that at all. I don't understand that.
I think they're being led to that. I saw a thing. I watched.
I agree with that, Mike.
Yeah, I saw Mina Kimes. She did her NFC North preview with I can't remember who she was doing it with. But she got to John Morton being in Detroit, and she basically, I'm paraphrasing here a little bit, but only a little. She said, I don't know what to tell you because I don't know anything about this guy. He's been coaching since '98. I mean, this guy's been around. He's got a track record. You could go back. I mean, for somebody on the West Coast like that, I mean, take a look at his USC days. I mean, find something. I know, Chris, I don't want to go back to it and rehash it, but the last time you and I were on, I dug up his last half of the year stats there in Denver last year, and his pass game in terms of design and execution was a mirror image of what Detroit does. And don't look now, that's because it's actually Dan's and not Ben's, and they both got it from Sean Payton and, Yahtzee. Yeah, it's Sean Payton's offense. You go watch, I got to, given where I live right now, you go watch Broncos football after they got their rookie quarterback kind of up to speed. And you got to throw out the first 2 months because he was, he had baby deer legs. But once he got going, you start seeing those deep in breakers and those the triple depth they get across the middle, and him just ripping seam balls. And you're like, okay, no, that looks familiar. I wonder where. Oh, that's right. Sean Payton did that before Dan did it. Dan brought it to Detroit, and now you've got this same level of synergy with the guy that's got a decidedly different personality, and I hope feels like he's got a lot less to prove. Just get in there and do your job, and leave the other stuff for the other stuff. I think at some point, and this is just me talking here, you guys don't have to follow me down this rabbit hole, I think Ben Johnson really started to like being boy genius Ben Johnson. And I've been talking about this in the Slack for a while now. I wonder how much of the credibility that's created by having a locker room full of former players like you had in Detroit, how much of that can he import? How much of that can he fake? How much of that BDE can he bring into a locker room full of guys that have underachieved now for a minute in Chicago?
Yeah.
I mean, a 4,000-yard passing season in Chicago, you probably get a statue. They've been down for a while.
Yeah.
You might get it. 17 games, maybe.
Didn't last year.
They play against the Lions' pass defense today. They ain't getting it.
That's another conversation we need to. I don't want to skip around too much. I'm going to let Chris drag.
Yeah, I know.
That secondary might be the best, like the best I've seen in those uniforms.
We're good. DJ Reed wasn't even out there today, and Jared Goff had nobody to throw to.
Hold on. Hold that thought, Riz, because I want to touch on one thing, and this
I'm scatterbrained.
No, it's okay. Oh, now I gotta say hi.
You got it.
Hi, Brian.
Love you, Brian.
Love the new music. Keep it coming.
Yes.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah. Love us some Scatterbrain. Who? Well, I won't get into this yet. We will. We'll talk about it with Brian when we talk to him. But the thing about Ben, and this is where like that whole idea of I'm Professor Ben and that mindset. He was an absolute pain in the ass to work for his last year here. And I think a little bit of it was that whole concept of I'm Professor Ben. That shit isn't going to fly. And he got worse when the pressure got thicker. Things lightened up. He would lighten up a little. He's the head coach. It's always pressure. And if he thinks there's pressure now, just wait till you lose that first game. Yeah. Yeah, and then wait till you lose that second game. It's going to get really bad, and he is going to alienate people if he hasn't changed his tune. And I think this is his nature. And when things get tight, he gets super micro control, and a lot of people don't react well to that. So this is going to. I told Riz this when we talked at the end of last week. I think that that team is going to come out confident and strong, but the first time they trip, it's going to start coming unraveled, and by the end of the season, it's going to look like a crazy, crazy bad place, I think.
How many times has Dan Campbell emphasized the importance of being the same guy every day?
Yeah.
Every day, every week, every month, after a win, after a loss, be the same guy. Be the same guy. A locker room will smell that like a fart in a car. If he comes in and he starts changing things, or he starts reflecting the pressure that's on him after a bad loss, they go get their pants pulled down on national television, something like that. Caleb Williams struggles at all. He's going to – I mean, that Chicago media, if he thought Detroit media was – they're going to get after him. And like I said, that's always been my question with him, because he never had to do that. He never had to do the CEO thing. He could be emotional because he had
Yeah.
a 6'6" shadow to hide behind, and he could go do his thing because Dan made that possible.
Yeah. All right, Riz. I'll let me pull the yoke out, get the bit out. Let's talk about that secondary. I heard they're failing
good.
pretty miserably, and it's over for us. We have no chance this year. It's 2 days in. We're done.
Because they're so good. they're really, really good. Just Terrion has already taken a jump. You can see it in 2 days of year 2. His
From your
confidence, his understanding of what he didn't know a year ago is so much better. And
I love this.
Look, they're not in pads yet, so the holding has been at a minimum, like across the board. But just watching him and his attention to detail with his feet, and I actually stood over and watched the DBs today because I actually wanted to watch Deshae Townsend coach. Believe it or not, that was like one of my ulterior motives, and that was worthwhile. That man does not need a microphone. He does need a profanity filter, but he does not need a microphone.
I can relate.
But he fits in very well with Chris. You remember the first time we talked to Hank? He told us, "I don't see myself as a coach. I see myself as a teacher."
Yeah,
that's where Townsend is, and that is where Arnold needed help. Was like learning the little things, and I think some of his teammates have helped him on that too. I think Amik has been a very big influence. Amik looks great.
yeah.
He's been playing on the outside, looking good. Best safety tandem in the league. The depth safeties, which were a big concern of mine throughout the earlier offseason, they get some young guys that deserve a shot, man. Whether it's Ian Kennelly or Dan Jackson, Lawrence Strickland has had his moments. Eric Hallett has had his moments. They got some guys back there that are going to be fun to watch develop. And, one or two of them is probably going to the practice squad. One or two of them might be going to another team. Like, it's fun to watch that. Even without Rakestraw, who I'm sure we'll get to him in the injury department, but that's where he lives, unfortunately. Like, they've got guys, man. Like, Rock Yassin played great today.
You forget he's even on the roster.
I know.
Yeah, I know. Like a couple of receivers who are going to make this team could not get free from him. He actually locked up JMO very nicely on a JMO got caught dancing at the line, and Rock Yassin caught him on it. It's the first time I've seen JMO do that, and I don't think he'll do it again because it didn't work for him. And JMO, not to go on the other side, JMO is good. I believe in you, JMO.
That's it. Remember Rock Yassin at Senior Bowl, Jeff? God, it's so wild. It's so wild. He's like already on another contract. Like, wow. Okay.
Just like his 5th team in 5 years or something. Like that. He's been around a long time.
Is he as loud and talky as he was there? Has he still got that same jaw?
He's been a little more subdued.
Okay.
He's still a punch first and ask for forgiveness later type of cornerback. That's who he is.
I like it. Like it.
Yeah. Another guy, Avonte Maddox, is fitting in very well. And one of the things that's neat is that he played sort of every position at Philadelphia, and the Lions are trying to see where he fits best. But what's cool is, like, he screwed up on a play today. And he went over and Deshae Townsend, like, was talking to him. And, like, to watch a vet, and he's been around for a long time. I think this is his 7th or 8th year. The fact that he, like, listened to technical coaching and was, like showing the coach that he understood what he was doing and, like, visually, like, that's pretty cool. That this guy isn't, he's made a lot of money. He's got a Super Bowl ring. It's not below him to be a grunt like that. I think that's really cool. I think that's really telling of one of the reasons why the Lions were so interested in signing him and why he's going to fit in. He is so much better already than Iffy Atumalifa, who could ever dream of being in coverage.
Well, if he's in coverage, that puts him ahead of Iffy.
Well, yeah.
If he was in the training room. Well, that's a big question for me, is how those guys are deployed. Because when you look at the roster, Jeff just went through the names. You look at even the depth pieces; they look really, really good. How does Kelvin Shepard deploy those guys? Are we going to see Brian Branch on those sneaky blitzes, the way Aaron Glenn used to call them? You've got a lot of talent back there and a defensive line that, as we've already talked about, Aleem's not out to start the year. You're not going to have Mingo. Now we know Levi's gone. The myth of Broderick Martin exists somewhere in that mix.
He's still on those stairs.
I'd pour one out, but I need my water.
But yeah, how do you take advantage of that secondary and really that back seven if the linebackers are healthy? That's going to be for my money. That's one of the more interesting stories to watch on that defense, because how Kelvin deploys those guys is gonna make or break a lot of how that defense works.
Yeah, and the biggest thing that I've noticed is that and again, it's 2 days, they're not in pads. That needs to preface everything. The communication and transition, like when they're passing off a receiver from one part of a zone to another, or they're going through the flex point as on a drag route or something like that, and they go from being Amik on the outside to Terrion in the slot to crossing over Jack in the middle, and then branches on the other side, or Kirby's coming down from the high to cut it off. They're moving very seamlessly on that so far, and that has really shown in the coverage in 7-on-7s. When Jared Goff tucks and runs in a 7-on-7, you know that the coverage is good, and that has happened.
Right.
We've seen it. That's not something Jared Goff ever wants to do. Although, to be fair to Goff, kind of ran pretty well. Did he do some beach training? He looked spry. Maybe,
do you know that
he's got the newborn at home? I don't know.
If you translate Goff to Kenyan, it means gazelle. So just so you know, go ahead and check that.
Well, that communication is so key. The best secondary I ever saw, and obviously the best a lot of people saw, was the Legion of Boom, and got a chance to see those guys up close. And that cover three, and the thing that made that go was that Richard Sherman and Earl and Brandon Browner knew exactly that within an inch of the hash mark where the transition points were. The communication became almost. I mean, it was all cerebral. They weren't talking anymore. They knew exactly where to be in that defense, and it made that entire secondary go. If those guys have learned some of that, things get fun fast.
Well, let me bring it back to the topic, and since we're talking about what makes it go, Kelvin Shepherd, new guy in the defense. Haven't seen him wearing the big hat before. This is it. How much evolution have you seen in the way they're playing the defense in 2 days in shorts versus how much you think is the player improvement itself?
I think first off, Kelvin is the exact same dude that sat down with us for breakfast in Mobile all those years ago. Yeah. He's the same guy, and I think that's really cool. I think that speaks to why he should be successful in Detroit. We have seen more consistent use of a 5-man line, but got to throw the but in. Derek Barnes is everywhere as that sort of fifth floating guy. Sam, he has played in the slot. He's played Mike. He has played hand in dirt. He's played lined up outside Hutchinson. He's played everywhere. He and Nate Lynn, who does it for the second team. Nate Lynn's looking good. They flex that a lot, and what that means is that that dictates to the offense what the offense can do, and not vice versa. When Barnes does that, that impacts where their blocking adjusts to, and that is different. That's not something that AG was very big on. It's neither good or bad; it just is. That's not what AG was about. And I think that's going to be a little bit different, that the Lions defense is going to start dictating to the offense, okay, you got to make your line adjustment here. Otherwise, that guy's going to kill your quarterback. And your running back has nowhere to go over here because you don't have enough blockers over here. I think that's something that Kelvin has – you're already seeing that a little bit. And you're seeing it work against the Lions offense a little bit. Some of that is the fact that we're going to get to this, but our offensive line depth is, yeah.
Can you spell that really quick?
I was going to say, how are you going to transcribe that?
I don't know.
That's got to be the headline,
the new
though.
Intern, what's her name? New Lions intern, Danielle. Danielle does the transcriptions. She does a very good job. Thank you, Danielle.
She doesn't transcribe
Lions
you.
Chaser interns every year. I had finally just learned who Body and Natalie were another con.
I want to see the Lions offensive depth as a Lions Wire headline. Because I want to learn how to spell that word.
I'll consult with Dr. Leah.
Oof.
Sounds like a medical term.
Yeah, I don't think he's a psychiatrist, my friend.
That'd be great if he was. I could use one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't wish that on him. He's like a nice guy.
No, God, no. He has to deal with me enough asking my random questions about various injuries, maladies, and all that stuff.
Every time they come in, it's like Liao's like, "Hey, Riz, how's that rash?"
I will have you know, Dr. Mayo, I did not, in fact, break my toe. It's just badly blackened.
It's just the gout.
No, I'll say this: if you're not an avid swimmer, don't try flip turns in a pool. It doesn't go well for your toes. Mine still hurts.
I was in the pool.
I was in the pool.
All right.
So that shrinkage episode is the greatest TV moment ever. I love that. That's also the one where Kramer is like stealing the lobsters. We're going way off the rails here. The trains are not on time anymore.
I'm trying.
Chris, get it back on the tracks.
Look at the baby, and it's an ugly baby. That is the pinnacle of Seinfeld writing. That's like I wasn't a huge Seinfeld fan, but I like good writing. That was good.
All right, let's. You're back in the Grande Ballroom days here, talking about me being old gray. So let's talk a little bit more about Kelvin. What have you seen, Riz? I mean, he's the same guy, but what have you seen now that he's got the big hat, the big clipboard? How's he? What's changed about him as far as what you see of him in the sideline?
Where's
he spending his time?
He stands to the side of the defense. AG always stood from behind because he was a defensive back, like that was his view. Shepard stands outside the level of the linebackers and looks at it. He was a linebacker, makes sense. He is very in close consultation with his assistants. Rogers is right with him. Townsend is right with him. Jim O'Neill is right with him. So like they're kind of like they used to kind of spread out a little bit and watch it from different angles. And I think now they're, at least for the first 2 days, anyways, they've been more collective and discussing things.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I do too.
The guy that steps up in that role, sometimes either their head gets a little big or people think their head gets a little big because now they're the boss, right? And to kind of lead into your other guys, it takes a lot of the pressure off, and it kind of shows that you're still the same dude doing the same stuff. I think that's good. Just for the whole vibe of those guys working together. That's good to hear. And you wouldn't think Kelvin's the guy. I mean, again, when we talk to him, you would never think that he's the guy that's going to get that big head. But there's competition in every part of this league in every place. So
to go back to something that Gray was talking about earlier, like the willingness of all these coaches have ambition, but the willingness of Dan to like be selfless and promote them and let them go after it, that is so appealing. If you have a supervisor or a boss that empowers you like that and trusts you and doesn't worry about losing you because you're too good for them, like I wish I had that more in life. I wish that for all of us that are on this podcast and everybody watching, that we had people that trusted us and trusted in themselves enough and were secure enough in themselves to let me be me and thrive being me. Because that's why a lot of people bounce around in their 20s, myself included, where you're just not valued. And I don't think there's a single person on this Detroit Lions team that doesn't feel valued, and that is
and hopefully it's
critically important. Yeah,
because Dan treated Kelvin that way means that Kelvin treats his position coaches that way. That you're not coming from a place of ego and fear, and that everybody's got a seat at the table, and that the most compelling, best ideas rule the day, and nobody cares where it comes from. because everybody knows you're going to get theirs. And that's another thing that I think, Dan and Brad, to a different extent, have proven that this culture is about. I think what you said, Riz, where they come in and they want to show everybody, hey, we're still good. Like everybody's just decided that Ben left and AG left, so we're done, because all of these players that make the plays apparently don't matter to the folks in Connecticut.
They just are on the other end of the controller.
And there are some teams where that's more true than not. Ask Jared Goff. So there are some, some coaches that run their teams that way. But that sort of thing is contagious. And especially with the amount of turnover that they've had, that kind of environment will speed things along.
Good
or at
question.
least you hope it will.
Good question from Flounder in the chat. He hit us with a super chat earlier. Thank you, Flounder. How does MCDC compare to Pete Carroll in that regard, Gray?
Completely different personality, but the exact same. I mean, Always Compete was emblazoned on everything at that Seattle facility. It was on the scoreboard on the practice field. It's the name of Pete's book.
Jesus. Yes, it is. It's a good book,
his
too.
dog.
Yeah. I mean, it was the competition mantra, the teaching mantra. They had, and I rolled my eyes at it because I'm a Gen X kid who's like anything that once it gets a moniker, it gets hokey to me. Yeah. But Tell the Truth Mondays and all of these other things that they had in that camp where you come in, you watch the tape, like, hey man, like this is the deal. This happened to you. You got beat on this play. You got beat in this game. We lost, whatever the case was. Pete was always very, very matter of fact. And going back to what we were talking about earlier, the same guy every day. His enthusiasm never waned. They're going to be dealing with it in Vegas. He has the personality and the energy of a much younger dude. He would walk out. I worked with a guy named Danny O'Neill at my station, and Pete would come out in training camp when we were under the tent for the ESPN station. He would walk out about 20 paces, turn around, and fire a football at Danny's head every morning. to the point where the interns were, they kept their heads up for when Pete walked out, just in case nobody saw him, because somebody take one to the dome. So yeah, he said they're similar in that regard. Very different personalities. Pete would let you know if your belt didn't match your shoes. He was a fashion guy. He had a really nice car. He had a little more of that West Coast sensibility to him. But in terms of the day-to-day and the everything's a competition and nobody's spot is set, that's they're very similar in that regard.
Interesting. All right, let's talk. Anything else with the new coaches before we move on to the next stop?
Not for me, man.
I would say, pay attention to Casey Rogers too, because he's getting some stuff done with his defensive linemen and run game coordination. He's not look. So
that's a great point, Riz.
Pat O'Connor he's the new Levi for all intents and purposes. Pat O'Connor is where he is because Casey Rogers unlocked him when they were together in Tampa Bay. And like Rogers is he's kind of a no-nonsense guy too. But he understands how to push buttons very well. And he has pushed the O'Connor button a couple times already. And it's like, okay, we're seeing this. I tweeted out that Pat O'Connor has just become a lot more important. Everybody rolls their eyes. Well, like, guy can play, man.
Yeah.
Go back and watch his Tampa tape. He was actually far more productive than Levi was in the same basic role. And like, I know it sucks that Levi's gone. Like, I know everybody loved it. We did too. We rooted the bleep for him to make it, man. And he finally did. And
right.
It sucks, but like, it's not the end of the world. This is a guy who's had successful multiple seasons finishing what he starts as a pass rusher, which is something that Levi, quite frankly, didn't do very well. And I think that's getting lost on people. And Casey Rogers is a big reason for that. I think Casey's very excited. I haven't talked to him, but it's easy to see. he likes Tyleik Williams a lot. A lot.
I think this is real. I'm glad you brought up Casey. He's the guy that very well could have been the defensive coordinator instead of Kelvin. And I don't know that anybody would have freaked out if that decision was made to put him there over Kelvin. I honestly don't think that would have been. I think we would have thought that at that point, Kelvin in a year or two was going somewhere else. But I don't think anybody would have had pause. And that's one of the things where he's quiet and he's flown under the radar, but he's sneaky good. He very well could be. And you know how highly I regard Hank and what he's done with that offensive line. I mean, you too, Riz. I mean, we've seen what he's done with the offensive line year after year after year after year. Casey's the kind of guy that could do the same thing on the defense. And I don't think he's gotten the flowers for what he could bring to this team. Maybe you don't get your flowers until you show up and you actually bring it, but somebody should give him a welcome package at least.
Look at what he's done with guys like Yaya Diaby. Look at what who somehow made the top 50 of some list okay, that's nice. He made Vita Vea a much better player, a much more complete player. He figured out how to use Devin White, who couldn't tackle Gray in a sandbox. Like, that guy misses more tackles than he tries. And he made him a very effective player when he was the defensive coordinator. And I think that's the fact that he got that guy to a Pro Bowl tells you how good of a coach the Casey Rogers is, because that guy is not a good football player.
To be fair, Greg gets scared pretty easy. He gets quick when he's scared.
Sneaky athletic.
Yeah, I know. Being here in Tampa, hearing the moans and the cries to losing Casey was a big deal.
That's the thing. That's the thing too. Like the one place in the country where they wouldn't have been surprised if he'd have gotten a DC nod be Tampa Bay, because they believe in him and everything else that he's picked up in his years down there with Todd Bowles, and knows a thing or two about defense.
Yep.
Todd Bowles knows what he's doing too. Doesn't always have the horses to carry the carriage, but he's a very bright guy. Very bright guy.
All right, WMW2 in the chat says Gray's got them shimmy shake. Yeah, he does. He can lose the best of them. We'll take that and we'll shimmy shake into the next one, which is giving some people the freak out shakes. Where are the team's current depth concerns? So let's talk about this team. And Riz, I know you want to start with the offensive line. This is kind of a tradition. Every year, Riz comes in and says we have no depth at the offensive line. Then we lose all 5 guys, and they do amazing work. But let's bring back the tradition of Jeff Risdon telling us how bad we are at offensive line depth.
Our starters are probably going to be pretty damn good still.
I should have set you up nicer. Sorry.
I am mortified about if Panay or Decker misses a snap at tackle. Because, look, I love Dan Skipper. I don't want him playing more than a series or 2 in a blowout game at left tackle. Maybe when they put the pads on later this week, I think they're putting them on Thursday, I'll feel better about Skipper. But, like, right now, he can run block, fine. But people are going to attack that. And God forbid if they have to go deeper than that, whether it's Jamarco Jones or Giovanni Manu or Mason Miller.
Talk to me about Manu. Because Decker was asked about him today and said that, you see the athleticism. He's been with me in Arizona. He's been working out. We all know that what the physical plant is, because the guy's 9'7" and 380 pounds and can move.
It's ridiculous, dude. Oh my God.
But can he block?
He's still struggling in that department. And again, the pads aren't on, but just the way that, like, defenders, Pat O'Connor has taken to him, Nate Lynn has beaten him. There's no natural feel for how to play football with him. And that's, again, 6 years ago, he was a Tongan basketball player, had never seen a football. It shows sometimes. Like, the learning curve for him is just, as I told on the radio today, he literally did not know he could move his left foot first out of his stance. He did not know that until he got to Detroit. That's how primitive he is technically. That's not going to get fixed in a year, y'all. It's not.
Does he play all
He's
4
certainly
quarters of the Hall of
willing.
Fame game?
He should. I hope so.
Yeah.
Because he's vacillated between the second and third team at left tackle. He has played a little bit of right tackle, but primarily he's come in when Skip has taken a blow. Or, they go to the second team offense. And I gave way too many things on a T for Chris there. Thank you for not using them. Maturity. I like it. But I don't trust Giovanni Manu to be active in a game yet. Does Hank? I don't know. We'll find out. I'm not there. I need to see a lot more. And Skip is what Skip is. He is the best sixth lineman in the league. But when he has to be part of the 5, he's average on a good day. I think he'd probably tell you that.
We just need him catching.
He brings
touchdowns.
a lot of intrinsic value beyond that. He has become, especially with Ragnow's departure, he's become much more of a leader. He hasn't started a fight in 2 days of practice, which is probably a record for Dan Skipper. Again, they're not in pads. Actually, Tim Twentyman came to me. He's like, "When's Skip going to start a fight?" I'm like, "Oh, come on." It's weird that Tim noticed that. It's cool. Like Tim. I stand with Tim in practice a lot. We have some good conversations. He's a bright guy. I don't think people who just watch his interviews get there's a lot going on with him. Good dude. But the younger depth, Sorsdal, I don't know, man. He's been playing center.
Big year for him.
Yeah,
It'll be the last year for him if he doesn't get on the field.
We'll talk about
it could
that.
very well be, but there are I'm intrigued by Kingsley Aguakun. I'm very anxious to see him in pads. Dan mentioned him this morning. He wants to see how he anchors. Me too. I'm very curious about that. In run blocking, when he gets out in the move, he's good. I'm curious about how much Coyote Alshika has to offer still. He's been around a long time. I think we forget how long he's been here. And I think he's finally settled in at playing guard and embracing it. And he's getting pushed this year. Hasn't really been pushed before. But Miles Frazier's in. Haven't really seen much of him. I didn't watch the line at all today, other than team drills. There's some intrigue, but it's all unknown at this point. And Chris, as you know, I'm scared of the unknown. I'm scared of what could happen if, I'm one of those people, and Chris knows this about me. If there's a zombie apocalypse, I'm running to the zombies. Take me now. I don't want to live in this world of uncertainty where I'm always looking over my shoulder and I don't know who to trust and who not to. Just freaking eat me now. I don't want any part of that living hell.
He checks under my bed at the end of the night.
Uncertainty of the offensive line is to me.
He checks under my bed at the end of the night in Mobile. The guy's terrified.
Jeff Risdon, prey animal.
You can tell because
I have no desire to live in a dystopian world where zombies might be trying to eat me around any corner. I don't want to take that corner. Just freaking eat me now. I'm good.
We'll hang you from a tree while we run away.
Riston's got the survival instincts of a gazelle with a limp.
Make him a zombie pinata.
I am a feeding goat.
Thanks, Riz, for the sacrifice.
Right.
I'm good with that. If it saves you for them to eat me, I'm all that much happier.
But it's not because you're a martyr. It's because you're.
No, it's not.
He's gonna write this.
I'm not
He's gonna
afraid
write
of
his
zombies. I
own.
don't want that. Existential dread bugs me very badly. And it came true last year. Chris, what was my biggest worry about the team last year? Existential dread about injuries.
Yep.
And it happened. And look what happened. It reinforces my skittishness.
All right. Let me.
Not a coward. I just have very little will to live.
Yes. I had a good run.
I want to work hard.
All right. There's a great question from Keith in the chat. Who's the guy that's way more important to this team than fans realize? So you can't say Goff, you can't say Gibbs, can't say Decker.
Derek Barnes is one of them.
Oh, that's
sure.
a good answer. That's a good answer. Yep.
I think Graham Glasgow might be that guy. And I'm not his biggest fan, but he's got a pretty important role this year. And so far, so good. Fingers crossed. Again, I didn't watch the line today. I don't know about that, but I'm really hopeful that Graham has a bounce back year, and he can.
As a guard or a center?
He needs it. Guard. One of the things that did come out of today, when Dan was talking, and I think I wasn't there for the player interviews after practice. I had to drive to be on the radio, but it sounds like there's this radical acceptance by everybody that Tate Rowledge will be the starting center quickly, and they're working very hard. Like, he's taking all the first team reps there.
Okay.
If he can play, if Glasgow can go back to being a perfectly serviceable right guard, this offense is going to look pretty damn good, because right now he's the weak point of the entire starting offensive line. And if Graham Glasgow from 2023 is your weak point, you got a damn good offensive line, because that guy was pretty good. He was not good last year.
If Glasgow's a guard, that means you've got Mahogany at the other spot, and then what your depth would be Coyote and Miles?
And Frazier, yeah. Unless Moody can beat him out, and Natani Moody is going to – he is Panay Sewell playing guard without Panay's footwork and pass protection. Like, that's who he is. And he gets hurt all the time.
So he's nothing like Panay at all. Aside from his precision footwork and availability, they're basically the same guy.
No, but like power generators, seek and destroy type run blockers.
Right.
They're not going to move backwards if you try to bull them. Like, they'll just laugh at you, and as you look for your teeth on the ground. Like, that's kind of the way he plays. But he's got to stay healthy. But last year, he had vaulted above Yode and above like all the other he was guard 3 last year, no question about it, in camp when he got hurt.
Okay,
so he's somebody to look. But Graham Glasgow's a good answer for that question about who might be a little bit more important than most people realize.
Yeah. All right, a couple things, quick throwbacks from the comments from before we got into Glasgow and that question. Flounder comes in with "Eat Me Now," which is Riz on Bourbon Street. Full Metal Savage. Then we're dealing with 6'4" zombie Riz, but don't worry. Number 1, they'd have to find the brains before they turn him into a zombie. Number 2, he's running away from people at that point. WMW2, remember me as I lived, not for my lack of wanting to survive.
There you go. It's like the Stewie Griffin thing. It's not that I want to kill Lois. It's just that I want her not to be alive anymore.
Jeff Risdon is just the France of any zombie situation. Immediately run up the white flag.
Riz,
I'm not about dystopia. I don't read dystopian fiction. I don't like dystopian movies. I want nothing to do with the dystopian world.
Riz, patient number 1.
That's my exit ramp, man.
He knocks on the door.
No Smoothie King in this reality.
Riz, patient number 1. He knocks on the doors of every biolab he passes by.
I've never heard anyone say that before. Everybody's got their zombie apocalypse plan.
Yeah.
Everybody. And I live in a place where the people take it a little more seriously than most. And I've never heard anybody like, I'm running to the zombies. Eat my brain first. I want a nap. I just want to go to night sleep. What are we doing?
That's where I'm at. My immediate family all knows this too, and they're like, okay, you're good with that. Dad, you had a good run.
Hey, more food for us, guys.
Yes. You gotta be faster than the bar. Just got to be faster than Risdon.
That's right.
Oh my goodness gracious! Then there's a question.
The knee slows you down.
As far as depth, there's questions. Is Carter has a good one here. Is Jonathan Hankins, could he fill the void left by Levi? Sorry.
That's a throwback. I love it.
Riz had a massive meltdown about Hankins one year, and
that was very, very early in our time together, Chris. Oh my God,
it was.
So, you said that was Carter. Carter, remembering that is awesome.
Flounder,
so appreciate
Flounder
that.
falls back. Hankins at guard. That'll reawaken Riz's fight. All right, let's see. Otherwise, let's flip over to the defensive line. We're going to injuries next, but what are some of the depth concerns there? I feel like we're good at linebacker.
Yes.
How about the rest
My
of the defense?
Y'all are gonna love Grant Stewart. You're gonna love this guy.
Keep going.
He's got a
Keep
shot
going.
at being. He's got a shot at being your kick returner. Quite honestly. Defensive line, I'm not too stressed about the depth. I think it's actually not bad. DJ Reader is healthy. He wasn't healthy last year. He's coming off of a second torn quad in like 2.5 years. Like he couldn't do the things with his leg drive that he wants to do. He's healthy now. He looks great. He sounds great. Tyleik Williams is a worthy first-round pick. And you're going to see more of the Tyleik Williams who got 5 sacks as a true freshman at Ohio State playing on a stacked line than you are the guy who didn't play very well against Michigan or Indiana last year. Because
his deployment at Ohio State is tripping people up because he was just not asked to do so much of those pass rush. So much of the pass rush job was not his in that defense. And people have,
100%.
Going back to all of the narrative controls, they've gotten it twisted that he can't do something that he wasn't being asked to do.
Exactly. It's similar to, talking about Jared Goff and he can't throw the deep ball. Well, he didn't get it. Like a Cal and Jeff Ted, they don't throw the deep. That's not what they do. That's the antithesis of what they do. And that narrative stuck for a long time. I don't think anybody really questions Jared Goff's arm strength anymore.
Has he been underthrowing J-Mo all camp?
He actually overthrew him Sunday.
I was just carrying on the next level of that sticky little.
But it's funny how those narratives change when reality slaps people. Tyleik's good, and Tyleik has pass rush moves. He just wasn't asked to use them. Doesn't mean he doesn't have them. I'm good there. Roy Lopez is fine as your number 3 interior defensive lineman. Haven't seen him in pads yet, but look, from what I know from watching him in Arizona, and from what I've talked to Arizona people, he's going to be fine. Like if he's your 3rd interior defensive lineman, you're in good shape. He's not going to pass rush. And if you're worried about interior pass rush specifically, they don't really have that beyond Tyleik and Pat O'Connor when he kicks inside. That's true. I need to see how the pass rush is coming in Kelvin's defense before I pass a lot of judgment on that. And that might sound like a cop out, but I don't know if they're going to depend on that. With Davenport, good Lord, Davenport he won my player of the day today from practice. He was phenomenal. And I wasn't even watching them until team drills. He ruined team drills with Panay blocking him. Panay couldn't block him. Panay's pretty damn good. I think we've all agreed on that. Marcus Davenport, got him repeatedly. And that's not anything new because he was doing that in the spring as well. When he's healthy, he is exactly what Dan and Brad and Casey and Kelvin want on the other side of Aiden Hutchinson. He's long, he's strong, he's tenacious, and he's damn smart. I didn't realize that from watching him when he was in New Orleans and other places. Some of that because he wasn't on the field enough. Good Lord. Dude's football IQ, he does not get fooled. You try to cut back, nope. You try to trap him, nope. Not going to happen. He's really, really good. Of course.
Well, the first part of that sentence was the important part, though, because we got to be able to measure his season in months, not hours. Exactly. Keeping him on the field has been a nightmare.
Yeah, and I get people that are have trepidation. I do too.
Sure,
but I will just say that when I came out of what was that? That was not the it was a pro day, some pro day I was at. And I came away convinced that the Lions were not taking an edge early because they liked what they had. I still very much feel that way. They like their defensive end pass rush a lot better than the fans do.
Yeah.
And that's something that we'll see who's right on that.
One thing I got to
Nate
say,
Lynn has looked very good so far. Isaac Uku, I haven't really seen much of him. Muhammad is out on PUP. He's supposed to be back later this week. Fingers crossed. Hassanin is a bundle of energy, and I said it earlier, so I'll say it again. If he had hair, it would always be on fire, but he doesn't have any hair.
There's a reason for that.
He's got a lot
once.
of once. Shouldn't hang me on a hook, Johnny. Mother hung me on a hook once.
Johnny Dangerous.
For the four of you who've seen Johnny Dangerously, congratulations.
I know that movie by heart. What are you talking about? Look who you're
I love that. Oh, dude, this is why we're friends. I love that movie. It shoots through schools. Bargain ice holes. Oh, my God. I love that movie so much. It's formative childhood memories there. Nate
so you're
Lynn.
not worried.
Yeah.
You're
I
not
worry
worried
more about the offensive line depth than the defensive line depth. If they have to use it.
All right.
It tells me we're good in the O-line. It tells me we're good on the O-line then.
D-line, like, would it be great if they had Zadarius Smith? Yeah, I'd feel better about that, like Zadarius Smith.
Yeah, when are they going to do that, by the way?
Who knows?
Can we get that done, please? That's supposed to have been getting done like for months.
The hard part is they're already getting rid of some good guys. And when they get to 53, right, and this is probably, we talk about it every year. Oh, this is the year that they're going to be getting guys that are going to play on another team. We're going to be getting rid of. That's a sign of a team that's improved. This is probably going to be the hardest year ever for that problem. And then it's like, well, and we want to bring in Zadarius, and it's like, that's kind of an all-in move, right? Because you're taking him for the year to try to make it work versus somebody that you could develop for the next couple of years that maybe you have some hopes for growth on. So it's interesting. It's one of the things. It's that time of year where you're putting the team together. You get to act like put on the Brad Holmes mask and pretend that you're the GM and you know better and what's right and what's wrong. And we've got an opportunity for you to prove it. Head on over to fantasy.detroitlionsfootball.com or no, DetroitLionsPodcast.com. What did I say? Fantasy.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. We've got our fantasy leagues up and running. You can join. We have a Champions League. We have a Beginners League for the people that are just dipping the toe in the water. And coming in the next hour and a half, we will launch the Intermediate League as well, because by popular demand, I got hit a million times saying, where's the league I'd like to play in, Chris? So we will bring that back this year. Intermediate League will be back. Go to fantasy.detroitlionspodcast.com. Top 3 spots all win money. 4th place even wins merch. 4 wins out of a 12-team league. 33% of everybody there's a winner. Head on over fantasy.detroitlionfootball.com. Play. God, I said it again. Fantasy.detroitlionspodcast.com. You would think I know the damn URL by now. Play, have fun, and see what you can do against your DLP crew. There we go. Thanks for letting me get that in there, guys. I'll try to do it better next time.
Get it together, Chris.
Hopefully you get into a league with my buddy Max, who only drafts Detroit Lions and Denver Broncos players.
I hope the zombies get me.
They're going to have to chew their way
I
through
don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen. But
I don't know. You sounded pretty resolved to it.
Not living. I don't want to live with existential dread. That's no way to live.
He gets down on his knees on the side of the bed every night saying his prayers, and please let the zombies find me first.
Fight right here.
I don't believe that zombies exist. So that's the yin to the yang, or the yang to the yin.
That's the bravery right there.
Right. I would totally surrender to that thing that in no way, shape, or form exists.
There you go. That's right.
All right. Let's talk really quick about safety, Riz. There's been some talk about worry about the depth at safety, and you and I were talking off air, and you didn't seem to have that kind of fear.
So this is the unknown. They've got a lot of really good young players. They just got to prove it that they have it. Ian Kennelly's an NFL safety. I will argue anybody with that. Like, that guy He's got the athleticism. He's got the smarts. If he went to even Western Michigan instead of Grand Valley and played D1 instead of D2, he would have been drafted, and teams would be like, oh, shit, like, this is our dude. Like, this is our late-round sleeper that we got, and he's going to rock. Like, he can play, and I don't know if there's room for him because Dan Jackson can kind of play. Lauren Strickland can play a role. Maurice Norris. Did him dirty.
Would have been so much better the other way. Morris Norris.
Eric Schlitt and I had a great, fun conversation about that one time. He can play, like he's got some ability too. Like Eric Hallett has looked really good through the first 2 days. I camped out with the DBs today. Hallett can play, y'all. Like, we haven't seen it, and that's the thing. Like, I'm very curious about to watch them in joint practices and the preseason and even the Hall of Fame game, because one or two of these guys is going to step up, and the other guys, the Lions are going to pray to God they can get them through to the practice squad, because they're all better. Every single one of them is better in coverage than Ifeatu Melifonwu was at the end of last season. Every single one of them. So I'm not worried much about the coverage. I am worried about missed tackles. I'm worried about missed assignments. But like coverage instincts, speed, creativity, communication, it's all there. They just have to go out and show it and show that they can do it and sort it out. Like who's going to win it and who's not. And it's going to be a very fun competition. And it will be one of those where it is won and not handed to somebody because everybody else lost. And that goes back to the Patricia and Caldwell years where, like, okay, this guy sucks the least, so he'll play.
Let's pay him more.
That's not where we're at.
Let's cut the guy that was better and pay this guy that sucks the least more.
Tim Boyle.
Employment miracle Tim Boyle, who popped back up on a 3 deep today with the announcement in Tennessee.
Yes.
That guy is the Highlander. He cannot be killed. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Oh, man.
We shagging the redhead British chick in Highlander. That was the highlight of the movie for me. She was nice and pasty.
Chris, do something. We're going back down the movie trivia route.
I've been just to tell you all where I'm at. So
no,
I'm grateful to be home. I haven't been home since Saturday morning. Where I stay when I'm over at the Lions camp, the air conditioner doesn't work. So I have been sweating and I can't sleep. And it's been awful. And I've been like Lions camp, I gotta get I leave there at 7. It takes me a little while to get myself together in the morning beforehand. So I'm on like dead no sleep. I have my Aura ring is like, Jeff, please go to bed and don't get up for 2 days. Like it says major symptoms are straining your body. And it's just because I'm tired. So I'm loopy as freak, guys. So y'all are going to need to rein me in or let me go take a nap.
You always paint such a beautiful picture. I got this sweaty Riz sleeping in the nude with a big swollen gout toe.
I never sleep in nude. I don't even like to shower nude.
We're thankful. All right. Let's go on.
You've been gone for 7 days, you said? Since Saturday? What was that? 3 days, 4 days? What day is it? Monday?
For 3 days.
You just did the weekend?
Oh,
all right. Your wife didn't go to see Coldplay.
I'll be back. My wife would be more upset that I went to see Coldplay than I went there with another woman. That's why I love her so much. Been married for almost 29 years because we both hate Coldplay.
Oh, man. Thank you, Alex, in the chat. Appreciate you, brother. Full Metal Savage. Riz wears a t-shirt in the pool. Okay. he shaves so he can swim, and then he wears a t-shirt in the pool. I heard shaving makes me faster.
I have a lot of rash guards. Thank you very much.
And rashes. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's talk about...
Apparently he stretched out his Aura ring.
He stretched out his ring.
My Aura ring is not happy with me. And actually, it literally just texted me.
His ring
Would you
is
like to stretch your legs?
The abuse. His ring is screaming, stop the abuse. Okay, let's How should fans react to the recent injury news? If you haven't heard, there's a couple folks that got hurt.
Yes.
The one that's most
I saw one
concerning
of
to
them.
me is, and only because it can linger and be a problem, but I hope it's not, the Anzalone hammy. To be honest with you, I just want him on the field all year because he's such an important.
Is that
part.
real? Is that a real hamstring or is that a hold in? Is that a my
I
hammy
don't
hurts
know.
because you got mad?
I haven't seen him. But it
I
certainly
don't
raised
think
some
that's him.
eyebrows in the media room when Dan said everybody passed their physicals, and he said Alex looks great, and then, oh yeah, he's not practicing because he's got a hamstring. And Dan was very effusive in shooting down that there's no hold in. Like, come on, that's not who he is. Does anybody really believe that? Well, a lot of people do.
He's been on social media
honestly
for
don't
3
know.
straight months. He's been that guy every time he posts anything. He's been that guy. He's been saying he's mad about his contract situation, and a soft tissue thing like a hamstring is the perfect scapegoat because they can miraculously get better just like that, and then he can come out once they've cut him a check.
And you get some nice massages out of it.
Easy.
This is not Justin Tucker we're talking about.
Oh man, I wasn't gonna go there. I wasn't gonna go there, but boy,
you know I will. I'm tired and loopy.
So yeah, I mean, that was my question with that was whether or not that's a legit thing, or is he just is it not a hamstring? Is it a saggy diaper that leaks about his contract situation?
Both on and off the record, I don't know. I haven't talked to him. Not that he would tell me, but it's curious. It's curious.
WMW2, after hearing this, I don't know if the zombies would want Risdon.
Ew, he's all sweaty.
My other defense. That's my other defense.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Dude, I'm a mess. I really am.
His wife doesn't even want him.
52 going on George Burns.
Go to Coldplay, you son of a bitch. Oh my God. Oh boy. All right, let's get to the one that's
Ghost next
let's get to the big one.
Different band.
Calm down, Casper. Let's talk about Levi. Levi's out. Start the season, first day of camp, and you're out for the year. This is not good news.
It's not.
Disappointed. Wasn't he on a 1-year deal? I guess we'll talk about that next. But
yeah, $4.5 million for the year.
1 year prove it deal. He proved he can't stay healthy. It's
right.
The cold reality of it. It sucks. It really sucks that it's not his back, because everything that man has been through and fought through, like, holy crap! Like, how can you not root for this guy and be so like in awe of everything that he's accomplished? And then it's a knee, and it's an ACL. But the way that Dan talked today, I don't know if it was torn or if there was any one straw that broke the camel's back sort of incident with it, and that's weird to me.
Dr. Liao had some pretty good
talking about that, because I don't understand that. Like, I've never heard of your knee keeps getting worse, but it's not torn, but we're gonna prophylactic ACL. You never hear that, and I wonder if that's what I don't know, but it's strange to me. I don't get it.
What about Rakestraw? Chest contusion. Now I saw your immediate reaction both and out of the Slack, and he apparently looked like Willem Dafoe at the end of Platoon, and then
yes, oh my God, yes,
and then he's fine.
And I was reminded of being back at Ford Field when my kids were littler, and on the intra-squad scrimmage game that they used to have, which they don't do anymore, and Eric Ebron running across the back of the end zone, and he went down like the most wild European soccer pussy you've ever seen in your life.
Shot with a howitzer. Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh my God, he just tore his Achilles. And everybody was like, doomsday. And my son was like 10 at the time, very calmly was like, Dad, he got his foot stepped on. I saw it. We were 3 rows up. It happened right in front of us. I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, I saw it. Like, I saw it. I trusted my kid, and he was right. And that was the reaction level that I saw from Ennis Rakestraw. Now, he didn't have the histrionics of it, but just the way that he was like, oh my God, I'm injured. Oh my God, I got to overreact. Like that's how he was. And there's a couple people who were in the end zone with me who will back me up on that. That it's a chest contusion is surprising to me and makes me very happy that that's all it is.
Yeah.
I do worry that he's got a little bit of Ebron Euro soccer player to him, but there are worse things to have.
Great last-minute idea for a fantasy football team name, by the way. European Soccer Pussy. There you go. Courtesy of Jeff Risdon. Well done, sir.
There you go. It's better than Magnolia Thunder Pussy.
Can't you just call it the Aura Ring?
Dude, my Aura Ring's awesome.
Please never say the words "my Aura Ring" again.
Unless you say "is awesome" at the end, because it's an invite. Please,
banged up after taco night, but other than that, it's great.
It's also, it tells me how much sleep I get. How much sleep did I get last night? 4 hours and 4 minutes. Woohoo!
All right. let me ask this, or talk about this. I saw this on Twitter today, and I wish I could give attribution to who said it, and I apologize because I don't remember. But they were talking about how a lot of the fans' reaction right now is so down on these couple injuries that have happened. They're actually darker and less excited and less positive about the team than this time in training camp when Matt Patricia was the coach. And it's pretty crazy. It really feels weird, doesn't it? Like to sit here and watch just 2 days in this kind of doomsday stuff coming out of fans. I don't know, man. This doesn't seem like...
Well, it's got to be as compared to expectations, though, because if your expectation is the Super Bowl, and I watched what's that clown ex-GM they've got on ESPN and all the talking,
Mike Tannenbaum.
Thank you. Yes, all the loud yelling shows. And he was the one who came out today and said that the Lions are under the most pressure to win the Super Bowl. That and I'm in the gym, I'm working out, and all I see are the captions. But that's where you're at as a fan. So the way that everything went down last year, and I've been thinking about this nonstop. You hear coaches say it all the time. You want to be playing your best ball in December. You want to be your strongest in December. And when you go back, and if you watched that Netflix series, if you watch the quarterback series, you get to see episode 6 out of 7. You're feeling good, and you know that episode 7's sitting out there, and you know what's in it, and it's going to be the last 20 minutes of Requiem for a Dream, and you're going to hate watching it every time because it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And you've got that sitting out there, and it all fell apart. But you watch Dan Campbell, watch the footage of the team meetings. They were nowhere at the end of the season. You want to be playing your best ball. You want to be your strongest. They weren't. They were fighting one-armed because the defense was Arena League. There was nobody there. Everybody was on IR. And so you've got that bitterness as a fan, and versus expectation, all you want to do is start strong, especially considering who they start the season against. So on that front, I get some of the bitterness, but to say the words Matt Patricia in a sentence next to anything that's going on in 2025 feels weird.
Well, it could be about the downfall of Ohio State.
Yeah, I'm all right with that. No, that's fine.
Most people are. Most people are.
See, I knew I could contravene. All right, so but I mean, the fan reaction right now, it feels like the vibe just went way off with two days of camp, and it's like, okay, it's Onwuzurike. I mean, I'm gonna say I'm glad it's not his back, because I'm glad that's a thing. He's going to get paid. He's going to have a good life. He got healthy. He got great medical care. It cost the team, but he played well. I mean, he played 16 games last year, and he played well for the team. So did we get everything out of him that we put in? No, but that's that. It happens sometimes with players. I'm just glad that he's going to walk away healthy and be able to live a decent life, I guess, at this point. I don't think he's going to be back, unfortunately, because the ability is not the one. So that's that. I don't know that it's anything to write off a team at this point, though, particularly when you talk about, you can't say out of one side of your mouth, oh, we're going to be letting go a whole bunch of guys who are going to be playing for other teams, and then say, but we don't have anybody on our team, right? That those two things don't pencil. And the truth of the matter is, other teams are also going to be letting go of guys that are going to play in this league, and there's going to be some shuffling of the deck chairs at that point. And there's nothing to say that we couldn't find that Onwuzurike replacement if that's what's got everybody freaked out and down. I don't think the reaction right now is the right place to be.
We're freaking out about our third defensive tackle. Now, it doesn't help that Josh Paschal is also out through the preseason, and he's another guy that has had a lot of injury problems and like very easy guy to root for, but at the same time kind of needs to get on the field. So I get that, but a lot of the people, the Venn diagram here is fairly broad, are like, well, Paschal sucks, man. What's he ever done? And then they're also like, oh my God, he's not out there. We're dead. Like, try to put your hands together at some point, or like string those two discongruent thoughts in the same. Like, there's a lot of people who don't like Levi, who think that he underachieved because he didn't get sacks last year, and now they're doom and gloom that he's not there. Like,
yeah,
I ran into one of those people at. I was at the dinner with an old friend of mine at the Basement Burger Bar in Canton, Michigan, and a person came up and recognized me and recognized my friend and asked me, like, what are we going to do now? And my friend knew him, and he's like, you hated this guy. Like, you thought he sucked. Like, now you're like, that's a conversation we had. And it feels like there's a lot of that. Like, it's like we're uncomfortable in the newness of having expectations. And I get that. And that's something that I think.
There's also the fresh scars from last year where they came in waves.
Yeah.
You know, you start talking about these guys on the defensive line, and it's not just that it's Paschal or just that it's Levi. Those are 2 second-round picks. You know, those are two guys that you were expecting to build around. Aleem is out for some time. Wingo is out for some time. And I think
if you're going to be worried about the defensive lineman, be worried about Aleem.
Yeah, you can start to catastrophize in a big way based on what happened last year, because it was just one after another, and then it spread to the linebackers, and then it went to the secondary, and all the way to the playoff game. I mean, we were still losing guys. Amik went down in the playoff game, so I think I understand that. But a month of football without losing, 2-3 guys a week, fix a lot of that.
Yeah,
because that defense was pretty good for that first month.
Mm-hmm.
They were, and Jerry Reisman brought this up to me today, and I thought it was a very salient point. We're the only team in camp. We haven't seen that, the Rams are going to put 9 guys on the PUP, that the Seahawks are going to have 7 guys, and they're going to lose one of their starting defensive tackles on the first day of practice. That's not happening anywhere else yet. And I thought Jeremy had a very good point about that, and I hadn't really thought about that. So thank you, Jeremy, because it's a very salient point. Like, we're the only people making news about these injuries right now, except Tennessee, and Banana Dude is out, which sucks for him. But maybe I won't have to eat another banana hole.
Go watch a banana ball game.
I would love to do that. They were just here in West Michigan. I didn't get to go. There were people there like 6 hours early, man.
Yeah,
I love
caught
the
a
business
couple
model.
of them. It looks like a lot of fun. It looks like a lot of fun.
I would
love to follow seriously, but it looks like a lot of fun. As a matter of fact, hold on.
It's the Steel Pantherization of baseball, and I love that.
There you go.
Hat. There it is.
Get some banana balls
Go
going.
bananas.
Oh wow, I got the blue and orange. We can go with Gator work on that. Okay, I'll deal with it. I'm bananas for the
Gator
Gators.
Boy's coming back soon. Let's hope.
I'm bananas for the Gators. What?
You need to call upon your Gator connections to get more dirt on Anzalone, and if he's really hurt.
Actually, I'm working with them to try to get in touch with the Hypergator stuff, but more on that later. Let's see. Okay, so we got that. We got the how to react to injury news. Let me get on to the next topic here. 2025 make or breaks for the Lions. We have a couple people. Let's just start with the Levi news.
One of them was Levi.
Yeah, break. I think we can call that one early, right? Unfortunately, that's probably a break. Appreciate him, and he's a heck of a guy to root for. And when he could play, he did play pretty well. If he could have had his full body, like his body strength and everything, I think he probably could have been a really impactful player, but never kind of lived up to it. So next, let's talk about Hendon Hooker, Michael. You weren't here to talk about him when Riz and I talked, and I would love to get your take on Mr. Hooker.
Yes.
Well, I think this is it. I mean, this is another guy. We talked about Sorsdahl earlier. We mentioned it, and there are different levels to this. To the idea of a make or break. I mean, I look at a guy like JMO, and the make or break for him is a buttload of money, right? Like if he has the season he could have, that guy's going to get paid. But with Hendon, he's got to show something. And we talked about Manu potentially playing all 4 quarters of the Hall of Fame game. I imagine you're going to see a lot of Hendon in the preseason, like a lot.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to take some steps. And I know I was keeping track with what Risdon was putting out there today, and some other folks that seem to think he had a pretty nice day today. And you never want to overreact to one unpadded practice. But the lights got to go on sooner or later if he's going to give himself an opportunity outside of Detroit, as much or more than in it.
I heard he's still a little slow on getting to a release, but his accuracy has been pretty sharp so far. So that's good to hear.
It's getting better.
I love this guy. I really, really like him. And he's got a lot. Like, look, he's tough to market because he was older when he came out, injured and all that. But he's just such a cool cat, such a good guy. He was so good to us at Senior Bowl, and it just showed the character of the person he is. He's easy to root for, man. And I just hope it comes together for him. I would love to see him be.
He's got talent too.
Yeah.
He really does. It's converting what he did at Tennessee into what he's doing in the NFL. It's very different. It's tough to come from that offense and make the adjustment. He was hurt right away. But this is a year. I'm going over the excuses. The excuses are done this year. Being a third-round draft pick a couple years ago is not going to save him. If Kyle Allen beats him, Kyle Allen will have that job. I don't think that's going to happen. I hope it doesn't happen, but that's where they're at with him.
Let me ask you something, Riz, about that from a developmental perspective. What does Johnny Morton and the new setup of the coaching staff bring that might help him or hurt him compared to how it was set up previous?
I think a little bit more experience. Morton has been on some teams with some really bad quarterbacks, and also some with pretty good. He certainly had a great experience with Bo Nix last year, and Bo Nix came in as an older quarterback that a lot of the fans were lukewarm about when he got there, and he was pretty damn good. He looks pretty good. he looks a lot like Jared Goff. If Jared Goff could run, to me, that's what I see from him. Running a similar style of offense, I kind of like that. And I think David Shaw being part of this equation also factors in. That guy worked with a lot of quarterbacks, from Andrew Luck to Kevin Hogan to whatever the hell they had in Stanford his last couple of years, which was not good. I think he knows how to develop quarterbacks and get them functional in the specific system that he had. And I think that's, again, no disrespect to Ben Johnson, but that's not really what Ben was. Ben was much more of a overarching mastermind, technical director type thing. He was not more. He left the mechanical breakdown and teaching and building up of the quarterback. Some of that was Tanner Engstrand, who's no longer here. Some of that's JT Barrett, who's no longer here. And I do think those guys are good coaches too. And that's where we're going to see, will the new voices in the head of Hendon Hooker, be better, and just because they're different, reach him better. And that's what we're all hoping for, because this is a better football team if Hendon Hooker is the second quarterback on it. And I did like Dan's answer today when he was asked if he talked to Teddy Bridgewater. He's like, yeah, I talk to him every day. Like the old Megadeth song. What do you mean I don't believe in God? Talk to him every day. Not about football.
Someone brought up a good point in the chat here, Jimmy Kryptonite, talking about Decker. feeling like this might be the end of the road for him. And you know something? That makes a little bit of sense. I mean, he's got years left. He had to get the shoulder cleaned up. He's a guy that's, he's not a give up kind of guy. He's running away from the zombies instead of two. But without
he will use one zombie to beat up 6 other zombies. Yeah, like he won't let it die. He will
a banana ball bat. Yeah, but if you think about it, he lost Ragnow, and they were close. They were really close, and there is a lot.
Called him his best friend.
Yeah, there's a lot about not just the personality of that group, but the closeness of that group. And I wonder if he felt like maybe he lost a little bit of himself with Rags leaving. Interesting to see. Make or break season, I don't know, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on. And what is his head like as the season and the aches and pains and everything else of the season wear on?
More than that, what's it look like as a human being when he's looking at Frank? Mm-hmm. When he sees, he's a new-ish dad. He's got a family. He's got lots of money. He's got all the money he could ever want. He's got years ahead of Frank in the league. He's played longer. He's going to continue to play, at least for this season. But, yeah, you look at your buddy who's retired, and he keeps sending you, snaps of him out on his bass boat. And it's November in the fall, and he's in hunting camp, and you're in practice, and you're sore, and everything hurts, and you haven't seen your wife, and those kinds of things. Once that gets in there, the first time you start to think about it, it's over. And he could easily be one of those guys because he's got a prime example of one of his closest friends.
Yeah, I don't want any Frank snaps, but hey, Riz, what do you think?
I think he's going to be good this year. But like everything Gray said is absolutely like pointing out, like you don't know, like does that motivation wane? What if they're 3-4 by some freak of nature against a difficult schedule at that point?
How dare
Frank
you?
Snaps him like, look at what I just caught. Like that. It's tough when you're not on the rise in your career anymore. And there might be some strategy to not having a good replacement for him, and that he has a sense of duty that he can't leave us. He can't leave Jared. Think he feels that way. I know this about Taylor Decker. He wants to win very, very badly.
Yeah, he gets it for sure.
And I think as long as the Lions still have a chance to win, and he can be an integral part of that, I don't think he's going anywhere. But
hopefully.
Yeah.
So yes, you never know. Like Frank Ragnow, certainly a very competitive guy, and for the love of God, Decker had a bone taken out of his foot so he could keep playing. Like at some point, that switch is going to flip on him. Like Ronnie Lott doesn't have a pinky anymore because he got it cut off in the heat of a game.
I missed that bone in my foot.
He might miss that now that he's 55 years old.
Walking through the snow. God, that bone, when it was there, it didn't hurt like that.
I know. You never want an ectomy.
I got phantom bone pain. It's not funny to make fun of amputees. All right, let me ask you another guy. I think everybody knows.
Thank you very much.
And by the way, not all ectomies are bad. I volunteered for one. It came in really handy.
Okay, stopped you at 2, right?
Yeah, exactly. I called my own number.
I have one of them too. Now that I think about it, I forgot about that.
I made one of each. My job here is done.
Yeah, same here.
I go by Johnny Appleseed.
We've done well. Our kids are great. Thank God.
Dropping the bag of seed wherever it'll go. Okay, let's talk about Bromart. Look, I love the guy, his personality. He was a great interview, really fun. You could tell his focus was so much on being the best he could be. So far, it doesn't look like it's going to be good enough. I mean, it feels like he's got the opportunity with Onwuzurike gone, but can he seize it? Can he seize this opportunity?
We'll see. He's one of those you really can't judge until the pads go on, because the biggest thing with him is, where are his pads? Are they too high? Can he sink his weight? Can he use his length effectively on the interior. He is almost one of those where the law of diminishing returns is hitting him with the length. He might be too long to play inside, and he's certainly not athletic enough to move outside. So I don't know. Like, it's tough. I'm rooting for him, but he's got an uphill battle to make the roster, in my opinion.
Well, this coaching staff, if they can't get him out there, and he had a solid staff around him last year. At some point, all of he's new and he's transitioning and making the transition from a small school to the NFL, and it's different. I mean, that's all got to go away, and eventually, and I'll generate some hate mail for this. Eventually, we got to start talking about the projects and the history with the projects, because you mentioned Manu earlier. We already talked about Sorsdahl. Now we're talking about Broderick. All of these guys that were projects, traded picks to go up and get them. A lot of people were like, and some of that looked a little sus. You need one of these to hit. They're not all going to hit. All mid-round draft picks don't hit, but sooner or later you got to get somebody that's at least a depth piece, a contributor, a rotational defensive tackle or something. And right now the track record there is not great.
It's not.
No, it's tough. It's a tough one. I got to tell everyone, hit the like and subscribe, please. We appreciate you. You're hanging around. You're sitting here and doing the thing. It helps us out. It helps everyone find us. We just saw a couple new folks joining today. So that like button is our best friend. All of us together. All right. Gray, who do you have as far as make or breaks that's left on your list?
I think we've already hit on all of them. Like I said, the only other name I'd add, and I mentioned this earlier, is JMO, and not because he's in any danger in any sort of a way, but another 1,000+ yard season and an increase in targets and production, and all of a sudden that guy is going deaf listening to the Brinks truck back up. Yeah. And beeping in his driveway. There's just an enormous opportunity out there for that guy, and it's rare. Sometimes, occasionally, when you hear too much noise about somebody, it feels a little organized. Everybody is talking about this guy.
Yeah,
I mean, Craig was interviewed. It's like a basketball game or something, and even he brought it up. You saw it again, like I mentioned with Goff on the Netflix wrap up. Everybody's talking like, no, JMO looks like he's ready to go. And Dan mentioned it. And, DC's pretty loath to mention these guys. Just, it's not motivational. He is not blowing smoke. Everybody's seeing it. So he's another one that he could change his entire career trajectory, change his, generational wealth, and really crank this offense to a whole kind of other dimension, to go with all of the worries about John Morton calling the offense and everything else. When you've got that guy out there on the wing, if he becomes a regular feature in this passing attack, look out.
Yeah.
Just one quick addition to that. I think it was yesterday. It might have been today's practice. JMO was back there in the punt return area, and they're waiting in the queue. And Kirby and Terrion were back there with him. They're just like they weren't involved in a thing, so they were back there. And JMO is going over, and we couldn't hear everything, but like he's telling there's like, hey, this is what I see on this route. When you're going here, I know what you're going to do. I'm going to do this. Like JMO is telling the defense what he sees from them.
That's pretty wild.
I would have never said that 2 years ago.
No.
Never
would have anticipated it. Never would have anticipated it. God.
Yeah. Now he's saying it with some swagger to him, and Terrion is giving it back. They're boys. They're fun. But Terrion gives it to everybody. Terrion's a character.
I just
way.
The growth on JMO, and I have to give this team, this coaching staff, the players credit for how they worked with JMO, because he would have failed out of just about every other team in the league, just with the way he was.
A majority.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
sure.
Just having heard some things that's going on inside the building with him early on was really disheartening. And to watch a kid kind of grow up before your eyes like he has and mature in the way he has, it's fantastic. I mean, there's nothing you want more for anybody right, is them to mature, be the very best version of themselves that they can be. But to watch a kid do it with under this kind of pressure, under these kind of bright lights, with all the you can't catch, he's not doing this, he's that, all the noise, but to be able to grow up and be a guy and do exactly what you were just saying, Riz, help and coach while he's playing the other guys in the field, that's just a major win for this coaching staff and this team. And I love to hear that kind of story, because that's, I think, one of the key signs about how good a team you are at developing your talent.
Well said.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it, guys. I think we've got a whole show here.
We make it.
Anything else you want to talk
We
about?
get to
Cool.
we get Risdon to sleep for his nap. We can get him
Oh no,
tucked in.
he's got to get his ring lit up.
Probably need to charge it. Silly.
Don't forget about us on Patreon. We get all kinds of talk going on. Patreon.com/Detroit Lions podcast. Patreon.com/Detroit Lions podcast. If you add $5 a month or more to your donation, you will get access to the Slack chat, which is the most intelligent Lions chat on the internet.
Unless I'm arguing in there with a guy named Scott about whether or not the Lions signed the wrong contracts, which I was doing earlier today. I got into it.
Oh man, I gotta go in the Slack. I haven't been there a bit.
Yeah, he's like, oh, well, the Lions have been overpaying people like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I was like, wait, what? What level of the multiverse is Saint overpay? What are you even talking? I lost it a little bit. So yeah, go into the Slack. I'm usually much nicer than that.
Make Gray mean. Join the Slack.
It's a short
Piss him
walk.
off. Also follow us on Twitter at the Michael Gray, at Jeff Risdon, and at DET Lions Podcast, the most intelligent Lions Twitter on the internet. I don't know. Be sure to go to DetroitLionsPodcast.com, subscribe to the podcast, because Riz really desperately, what do you want to do, Riz?
I really want to come in your ear holes automatically.
like the fourth creepiest thing he said tonight.
Well, Aaron Pfeiffer, thanks for the super chat. Look, it's Larry, Curly, and Mo. Who's Mo?
If you got to ask.
Oh, all right. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to see you next time on the Detroit Lions podcast. Remember, no pants, no toasters, no hot tubs. Those are the old days. No problems.
Zombies.
No, maybe zombies. Riz is our zombie bait. But don't worry about it, because we are your Detroit Lions at Reddit Connection. See you all real soon. Thank you. Fantasy.DetroitLionsPodcast.com.